guys, hello. Welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, if you are here for the first time, hi, my name is Falkhisa, and if you're a subscriber, I'd like to thank my 60 subscribers for not unsubscribing while I was gone, but you will probably know why and where I was during the pandemic. And of course, this is a new year, and I want to go into it like with a bang. So yeah, happy new year. Yeah, I guess happy new year, and please do subscribe to the channel. I'm a little bit mellow today because I'm a bit emotional because I'm doing something that I've always wanted to do. I woke up in a different location. I was not at my residence. I was not at home, but instead I was at one of the local guest houses. And I'm really excited about what this year has for me because it's something that I've really been struggling with too, in terms of like going out, in terms of, allowing myself to be invited to places of young people and doing what a lot of young people do. And also that is because of the journey that I have been on during the pandemic, which you would know about it probably in the next video. But today it's just really a reflection of how 2020 has been treating me. And I think when a lot of people were asking me what exactly is, like how do I feel about the previous year and stuff like that, for me really it was I always tell them that it is a year that whatever needed to happen happened. There isn't nothing to scratch out, even the pandemic itself, because a lot of people realize their talents, a lot of people realize their potential, a lot of people realize that they have, entrepreneurial skills that obviously they had. Taken a chance on, and it has worked out for some and it didn't work out for some, and it's still okay because there's a lesson in everything else that has happened this year. So yeah, basically for me 2020 was a great year in terms of my spiritual journey. Of course, it was a great year in terms of that. um I'm qualified as a traditional healer, and yeah. But before that, let's just go into the beginning of the year 2020. So, um, I lost my funding, you know, and it was my last contractual year at work. So I had until March to complete my 2-year contract with which I had with the national department, and I was doing HR there. I learned a lot. So if you're looking for an HR practitioner, hook your go up because I'm that girl. I have skills in Purcell, I have VP sales skills, and many other things. Like I'm a good hire, I'm a good candidate. And also, I realized that I haven't seen my hair in quite a while, so don't mind me touching it for a bit. But yeah, so my contract was coming to an end in March, and I was prepared for that. And yeah, I've realized also something in terms of job applications. There was a job post that was open. Initially, I had applied for that post and I was not shortlisted, and the post came out again, and I didn't even bother to look at it again because I mean, I applied before and they didn't call me, so I did not apply for it. And yeah, it was, I mean, everything that needed to happen last year happened. So I did not apply for that post. And this time, what was different about it, they wanted 3 people. But at the same time, when I looked at that job post, there was no opportunity for me to grow in terms of like the monotony of um, the work that is done. It's going to be that through and through. There isn't any challenge. And like when I was in HR, I would rotate in labor relations, I would rotate in human resource transactions, I would rotate to PMDS and stuff like that. So in terms of job applications, one thing that I've learned was that I don't need to apply because like sometimes we are desperate for jobs that we end up going into spaces and places where there is no growth. And also it was going to take a lot of time for me to gain experience in my actual profession, which is human resource management, and that was in a different area. And of course I've done the work before, but it's good for me to have the little experience that I have that it works for my good, as opposed to me going into that sphere full time, because that national department is the only department that offers that. So I cannot use it anywhere else. The skills that I would acquire there in that particular area would be used solely for that department. There's no other department that you could actually use that skill, as opposed to human resource management, where I can use the same skills in different other departments as well, because they do the same thing. The system is the same, and so yeah, that's how my year began. I was also rotated to contact center. I did some contact center work because there was a backlog. So, in terms of rotation, when you're a contract, especially an intern, you are rotated. So, I was rotated to contact center. I did the work. The job post was advertised. That was I was willing to take, because I know that you can use contact center skills anywhere else, as opposed to a specific national department. So, I applied for that post. I was not even shortlisted, and for me, it was very difficult. It was, I think what made it difficult was when people, were like, "Are you okay? Like, you were supposed to be shortlisted and stuff and stuff and stuff." But it hit home when I had to teach new people the job. It was like, heck. So that was a bit, it was, yeah, that was the part where it really hit me that whatever shall be to happen, it shall happen. So yeah, I think I took a hit last year when that happened. That was the only time in terms of work where I felt like some kind of, it's a bit unfair that I'm not even shortlisted for a post that I know the work inside and out. And whereas I believe that in the workplace, the open relationship between line managers and those that follow should be that you're able to communicate these things. I could have, if it was me and I was someone's supervisor, I would sit them down to explain, "Or look, man, um this is what is happening. We didn't shortlist you because of these reasons," and only to find out that they like the only reason that I was given was employment equity. So there were a lot of females as opposed to males in the workplace. So they needed to hire more males. But I believe because they even taught me that you can actually deviate from something through a submission, that could have been done. But whatever needed to happen happened. So it's cool. It's fine. Um, so yeah, after that, cool. I did a consultation because I was a very sick girl. Like, a lot of people couldn't see that I was sick. I was living with headaches, and having a calling and running away from it is not cute. Don't do it. If you have consulted and you're told that you have a calling, you can also seek for like a second opinion, where to check if really, 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 and after you are satisfied, go through the initiation and save yourself from the hell that could come with you running away from this whole thing. So yeah. Um, I did a consultation. My grandparents fell sick. My grandfather became ill. On the day I did a consultation, he lost his voice. So I had to explain to him what is happening, and he couldn't even respond to it. And it was a mess. It was a bit of a mess. So while I was still looking at my granddad, that, oh, this one is too sickly, then my grandmother died. Exactly like a day after I had a successful dialogue. I do dialogues, I do roundtables. So after a day of my dialogue, my grandmother passed on. That's when I realized that I've lost my mind, because when they called to say your grandmother passed on, I asked which one, and she was the only one who was left, from my paternal side of the family. So cool. Um, yeah. So my grandmother passed on in March, and then 3 weeks later, my grandfather passed on, because on the day that we buried my grandmother, um, we took him to hospital, and that was the last we saw of him at home. So he passed on, and then I realized that now the calling became louder and louder and louder, and I didn't have control over myself. I didn't understand myself, and most of the time I was just becoming something that I'm really not. So I had to really focus on that. And I'll do a detailed video of the journey of, the calling, the initiation, and. But otherwise, we completed the initiation. I went in. So during the pandemic, it happened that I had successful live shows on Facebook. It was a great time for me to sharpen my skills in terms of speaking, in terms of, just becoming better in this whole thing of speaking in front of the camera, interacting with people, and. So yeah, that happened. I did live shows, I think, for a good month and a month and 1 week. Then I had to go to the initiation, so I had to stop. Went for my initiation in May, and then it took May until I came back home 19th of September. I think I'll attach a video of my coming home, so yeah. I did that and I came back home in September, coming back home, and yeah, last year was really tough. When I missed the part where Louisa, after the contract ended, also after the contract ended, I had to use the money that I had saved for other things to have myself registered to, to just go back to school because it's my last year. I'm doing marketing now, it's my last year, so there is no point in me staying at home if I had the money to, register myself, register for a residence, and also continue serving in the institution, of course. Um, so yeah, that's basically what happened. And yeah, after September, things started becoming clearer, understanding myself a little bit more, my family becoming open about literally everything to me, learning, practicing, and I was fortunate enough that I started practicing when I was Kwagwabela. So yeah, it was great, and we had an African traditional medicine conference that I was part of, that I was spearheading. I got an appointment as a spokesperson of African Dingaga organization, and I'm really happy about where 2021 will be in terms of me being a spokesperson for such a huge organization, and also assisting with the running of the organization, and being heavily involved in African traditional stuff. I mean, as a young traditional healer, and breaking stigmas and stuff. I'm really excited about that. um what else? Also, I got gigs which I couldn't get because I could not write any new poems. I couldn't write any new materials. It was a bit frustrating, to be quite honest. So yeah, and then I did a huge show with 20 Leadership Foundation. I think I'll attach the link below if you haven't watched the show, Fist of the Clowns. It's a show that they do annually for gender-based violence survivors, and. So you can click on the link in my description box, and you will be able to watch the video and comment and share it and see how good I am as a poet as well. And yeah, obviously we've written new material. So yeah, 2020 for me has been full of lessons, but I think the huge part of it has been finding and meeting myself. I realized that I've been with myself, but I haven't really met myself. So the period of initiation, the period of the pandemic, really has forced me to really face and be with myself. So yeah, that. So I did also, I did with Idumileng Marco tutoring. I did MC and direct a program for their what's this thing? Uh, the young gentleman and me. So yeah, it's a gathering for young boys where we give career advice, we social chats, this and that. So yeah, I also handled that. What also happened, Mara? Yeah, I also for the first time came out as an MC at a wedding in Zirast. Lit, guys. I think I'll also attach the video um onto this to just see. I was handling it with Sienda Ngema, also known as Sia Speaks. So that's basically what has been happening in my life 2020, but more than anything else, I'm so grateful to have woken up in this place that I'm at. This Tulani guest house is based in Mashimong, it's not far from where I stay. Um, I'll attach the video, and then yeah. So basically, I'm just so grateful to have woken up at this place. It has given me time to reflect. It has given me time to just be with myself and be okay. And when I left home, my sisters like didn't believe that I would actually leave, because I'm that person who doesn't leave home for no reason. So yeah, I'm just grateful to have had 2020 come the way it did, and to just be where I'm at today. And of course, I'm really excited about 2021. In 2020, we learned a lot of things, but in 2021, we apply. And most of all, most importantly, I pray to God and Badimo Baka for everything that I've asked for and everything that I'm to pray for, everything that I've prayed for, I should be able to handle